Willis. I'm a mechanical engineering major and I was a freshman.
Jerome Padilla, electrical engineering major, junior.
Rina Paladi, bio major, freshman.
My name is Vic, senior economics major.
My name is Ray Barkai. I'm a junior electrical engineering major, mechanical engineering minor.
My name is Morgan. I'm a political science international relations major.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Vasquez. I'm a psychology major and an English minor. And a junior.
Alright, so what we did was we went on a cultural immersion trip to Miami, Florida. And the trip objective was obviously to go on a cultural immersion. And what is a cultural immersion is that you pretty much go into a different community or a different culture that's really a lot different than the one that you're from. And pretty much just immerse yourself in it and try to see what they go through and how they live and try to like relate to it in different ways. Why we went to Miami because Miami's really different in so many ways. The culture there is, every community there pretty much has its own different culture. And that's why it was a really good opportunity for us for an immersion because we got to see a lot of different cultures and not just one. Whether it was like Cuban or Puerto Rican or from the Bahamas or anything, there were so many different cultures that we got to see how they live.
Why Miami? I don't mean to pick on Jenna Karina, but why Miami? Like, what do you think about Miami? Like, what brings you there? Just like anybody else, the beach, the nightlife, the club scene, all of that. But we went to Miami for a different reason. Another part of Miami, our service partners, DOOR, Discovering Opportunities and Outreach for Children. They helped us out with a lot of nonprofit Christian organizations that we can connect with to help out younger children, Haitians, Hispanics, with homework, with everyday things. Miami, they provide opportunities, service learning in 6 different cities: Chicago, Hollywood, Atlanta, all the urban cities that you can think of. Miami is considered the Latin capital of the world, Latin American capital of the world. There's totally different enclaves down there. As you walk by, as you drive down Miami, you can see the different culture streams. Sometimes I feel like I'm at home when I'm in Miami because that's how it feels like. And I'm from Puerto Rico, so it feels like home to me. In the 2000 census, nearly 60% of Miami's population is Latinos. So you can tell that everybody down there is multilingual, multicultural. Knowing Spanish is an asset, but knowing English over there can advance you economically. So Spanish is definitely the second easiest and fastest language to learn, and it is definitely something that employers will look for in the future.
So what we did in Miami. So on Sunday, right after spring break started, we all got together 3 a.m. to get ready to go on our flights to Miami from the Philly airport. And the first thing we did when we got to Miami, we went to this place called El Palacio de los Jugos, and that was a Cuban restaurant. And it was really awesome because I used to consider myself a foodie and thought that all Hispanic foods were kind of like Mexican food or something like that. But then we went to El Palacio and I realized that Cuban food is so different from what you normally think of when you think of Hispanic food. And another thing we did right after, we went to Versailles, which was kind of a restaurant, but on the side they had this coffee area, and we had Cuban coffee there, and it was amazing, like one word, amazing. Afterwards, we went to a car show where we got to see a lot of awesome cars, and that kind of gave us insight into Coral Gables, which is a more affluent portion of Miami. After that, we got to listen to Lisa's cousin, Adrian Espinoza, talk about the Tequesta Indians in the Miami Circle. And I didn't know that Miami had so much history to it. And listening to him talking about the Tequestas in the Miami Circle, I realized that there's this whole historical side of Miami that I never thought of that could exist. Kind of like what Jerome said earlier about like how you assume it's all beaches. It's really not. There's so much to it, like past, present, and the future. And then at night we ate Mexican food, and we had like, people think of Taco Bell when you think of Mexican food. It's not really like that. It's really different, and that was really awesome. Day 2, we went to this place called Riverside, and it's a place that kind of helps ex-convicts get on the right track. Like they give them help with resumes and they help them get jobs. And it was really interesting because an ex-convict started it, and it's all about giving people a second chance and believing that you can always do something to help yourself. Because a lot of these people, they lost their jobs, their life was kind of in ruins just because they went in jail. And this was really cool because they got a new chance and a new opportunity to start over on a fresh slate. We had tacos for lunch there. They were really nice and they gave us tacos. And afterwards we went to History Miami, which was a museum that gave us more insight into what Adrian was talking about the day before about the historical portion of Miami. Day 3, in the morning we went to GoFo, which kind of gave us insight into the migrant farmer population, and I didn't really know that much about migrant farm workers or immigration. I've never really been that interested in it, or I didn't even realize it was such a big thing in Miami, or even like in the United States. I didn't realize it. And hearing Mr. Arturo talk, it was really interesting because it taught me so much that I would have probably never even thought of learning about, and it made me interested in something that was different and new, and that was really awesome. And afterwards we went to Branches, which is an after-school program, and this was kind of a more Hispanic area, so we were all working with children at Branches, which was started by Miss Kim, and it's kind of like after-school program, so that we tutor, or they have little gym class games afterwards. And it was really cool because we got to tutor with the kids, and some of them didn't speak English, so I remember Dr. Yuraka, she can speak in Spanish, so she was tutoring somebody in astronomy, and that was really cool because you think that it was really awesome. And then at night we had Salvadorian food, which again is not the same thing as Mexican or Cuban food. It's its own distinct type of food.
We started day 4 in Coconut Grove, which is a very old neighborhood. So you can see a lot of colorful houses, shotgun houses along the sideway. We were there handing out flyers to invite the neighbors to come to the volunteer event, which the volunteers would paint houses for the people there, and free food, music. So we're just trying to get them out to enjoy the day. After that, we organized the supplies so the volunteers can have all the supplies to paint the houses for the people. We spent our afternoon at the GATE program, which young guys get caught up in gun violence program can choose to participate in the program instead of going to prison. And it was a very emotional afternoon for us because the men that went through the program came back and become mentors for the younger kids, so they prevent the young guys to make the same mistake. And we listen to the stories, we understand where they come from, and it's not always the same stories that you hear in the media or you know from experience. And after that, we went back to our home base for dinner and a reflection, which we all sit down, share our thoughts, opinion, experience. Everyone has different stories, our privileges, what we learned through the experience, what you challenge yourself through the day, and how you learn from it. So that was our reflection day. We start our day 5 in Little Havana, very vibrant, a lot of tourists. We walk around in the neighborhood, check out the art galleries, the domino park, and just snack and food. We spend our evening in Bayside, had dinner, hang out, check out the shopping, just hang out in Miami, like the regular people. Day 6, in the morning, we went to Everglades, spend the morning in the nature, saw a lot of alligators, and very, very different from the urban area that we experienced the first couple days. Later on, we went to Little Haiti, a little different compared to Little Havana, a little more quiet, fewer people. We went to this little museum, and we got a tour around the museum, see a lot of good artworks. Afternoon, we went to a different location, the same branches after school program, but a different location, hang out with the kids, like Rena said, tutor the kids, just spend time with them, listen to their story, because some of them do not get a lot of attention from working parents, so we were just there hanging out with them. Day 7, we went to Miami. This is the real day, Miami for spring break. Hang out on the beach, sun tanning, walking around. We got a hotel right behind the shore, so spend all day in Miami on the shore. 5 napkins for dinner. Walk around the Ocean Drive, check out the typical Miami spring break, and the next day we went home.
So on the spring break, it was, let's call it perfect timing. So it was just enough of an experience because every day felt like more than 24 hours. I know that first day I knocked out within at least 15 seconds. The second my head hit the pillow, I was gone. So it was just enough it was just right for the perfect experience. You didn't have to take time away from school or classes or anything like that. You could, it was right on spring break, and you got that 7-day period, and we all became a close family. We have this ongoing joke, we're not like the Breakfast Club. So it's just perfect. We all became a family. We all got very close. It gave us an experience to get to know one another because we're all different majors besides a few of us, and it gave us that opportunity to get to know one another. So that's kind of why I enjoy this trip most of all.
And so what we observed and what we learned, so we attempted Spanish. What this means is, well, why we attempted Spanish was in order to blend into culture, relate to people. It shook up our comfort zones a little bit, and it got us into that foreign mindset, and it helped us order food. So it was really important for us to learn, or to attempt to learn Spanish, because a lot of us don't have Spanish backgrounds, we don't know how to speak Spanish. And in order for us to better speak to the Miami people and just be more involved in their community, we had to kind of step into a different role. We had to kind of fill other people's shoes in order to do that. And it was a good experience because it got us a little bit out of what we're normally used to. But we also did, you can go, yeah. So we learned personal stories from every place that we went to. This is really important because it allowed us to connect with people and to get a sense of the different backgrounds that different people may have. Even in this big United States, everyone's different. We don't have to go to Europe to see that. We don't have to go across seas. We can city that kind of picked up with the tourism in Florida. It made people come out more. That was run by Henry Flagler. And then on the bottom floor of the Miami Museum, they had an exhibit of street artwork, and we actually got to walk through it. And a painter, an artist, was working on a mural, and we got to talk to him. And we asked him like what he thought about the culmination of what he was putting on this exhibit, and he basically said there was a lot of culture and a lot of warmth and a lot of creativity, and I feel like just being able to walk through that exhibit makes you realize just like it's a summation of Miami and the streets that you walk through, because it's very colorful. Reflections were really important. We got to learn about our groups and about each other, and every day we'd have tons of questions, and this was our time to really talk to one another and kind of hash out our little questions that we have. And this kind of lasted like way into the night. We had a lot to talk about, and it was really, really, really awesome just to be able to get real closer with the people that you went on the trip with. That was really awesome. And just to highlight a few really events, we went to the branches like Lee and Nina said, and that really helped us just connect with the kids. They're the little lives that make up Miami. What was really hard for us was that we went there and we knew we weren't coming back, but a lot of the kids were asking, are you coming back? Can I see you tomorrow? And it's like, it's hard because we learn about their inconsistencies in their lives. And we went to do 2 branches sites, but they were 2 different sites. So it was hard, but it was also really rewarding getting to help them and see that they liked our help. So that was really cool. In the neighborhood housing services of Florida, we were pushed way out of our comfort zones for this one because here we don't see that many gated communities. Well, gated communities, but like not individual houses with gates or fences. It's pretty open field. And there it's not like that. They have fences, they have chains, they pretty much bar you out of their front door. And so it was an experience to be able to work as a team and kind of overcome that fear of overstepping their like land. So that was cool. And the GATE program, like we talked about, it was really, really, really emotional on us, and we got to connect on emotional levels with the mentors and with each other based on what we learned from the GATE program. And entertainment. It also, Bayside and South Beach, it gave us a little feel of home because before then we weren't really exposed to a lot of like the brand name stores or the restaurants that we normally see around here. Like in Little Havana and Little Haiti, they didn't have anything like that. So it was nice to get a little taste of home and see that things that are here are also there as well. So.
Why the trip was meaningful. So in terms of culture, it got us to step out of our comfort zone. So for me, I'm a Palestinian American first generation. So most of the people we met were either first, second, or third generation there. And it was a way of getting to connect with one another on that personal level because I don't know that many people that are first generation from another country coming into America. So for me, that was something that I got to get into. We got to meet Hispanics. And the Hispanic, Haitian, and Bahamian cultures, and really just a way to really immerse yourself in that culture. In terms of service, we got to, again, you really got to get out of that comfort zone and help people in terms of service. I like kids, and some of us don't. Some of us aren't fond of kids, but we all, for the branches programs, we all got to get really close with the kids, whether they liked them or not. People that didn't like them ended up loving the kids at the end of the day. So again, it's another way of stepping out of your comfort zone. That's why everyone had their own thing. Everyone had a favorite part to the trip. And I mean, branches may have been it, it might have not been it, but either it was rewarding for everyone. And in terms of us up here, we got to, again, be that breakfast club. We all love each other like family. Ever since we got back here, we've always stayed in contact. Everyone sees each other all the time. I help Rena with homework. I see Jerome all the time. I see Morgan at the gym. So it was after that trip. We never met each other before that, besides me and Jerome. But after that trip, we see each other all the time. We talk to each other all the time, and it just got to be a true family.
For future students and groups, I think that this trip is really important because you really feel like you're immersed in Latin America and we're still in the United States, so it's just important to realize that such diverse cultures exist in our country too, not just outside of the U.S. I think recognizing like how far out of our comfort zones that we all had to go at different times of day, different points in the trip, like I think that's so important for us to learn and to experience now while we're in college, so that when we graduate and we go on to our jobs in the real world, we know how to go out of our comfort zones. We know how to interact with others, communicate, work with others when we might not be 100% comfortable with what's going on. Miami, I mean, we already said it. I mean, it's just a great way to connect with students that like we otherwise would have never met. I would have never met any of these people because they're not my major. So it was just amazing to make a whole new group of friends at Widener. So, and lastly, I mean, I know we're running out of time, but I just think this trip is so important because like not only did we learn about like urban crime life, we learned about all the different cultures, the Caribbean, Haitians, Hispanic communities. We learned about poverty, nonprofit organizations. We learned a lot about people, just basic about people, like not only people we were with, but the people that we met. And it just reminded me how lucky that we are for all of our opportunities and to never take that for granted. So.